I remember a client mentioning to me during a coaching session one time that she really fancied the idea of taking up yoga. She'd never done it before, and the idea of walking into a room full of people that she didn't know and were potentially yoga experts in her mind, it was terrifying and completely put her off. But this lady was very sociable. She was usually very confident in herself, would not be described as a wallflower, wouldn't have really said that she was an anxious type of person, but that is until perimenopause really kicked in. She was starting to notice in herself that she was making excuses and trying to find reasons to stay at home more, whereas normally she would have gone out for dates with her husband or with friends. It was all becoming a bit of an effort, whereas before she wouldn't have thought twice about it. I've had a lot of these type of conversations where people don't really want to go out. There's something that's holding you back, feeling self-conscious, a bit of self-doubt creeping in, and wanting to hide at home, but still feeling at odds with that because you know it's not who you really are. In the free community Menopause Done Naturally, when people want to join that community on Facebook, I ask them a couple of questions about why they want to join and what they're struggling with currently. And one of the leading answers around that is low confidence. So why is that, and what can we do about it? There's a few different reasons, of course there is, and one of them is that you've had decades of living in your body with regular, predictable cycles of hormones, your period. And whether you're aware of it or not, those cycles of progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, they have influenced how you feel in terms of energy, sometimes sleep as well, and how courageous you feel, how bold you feel, levels of certainty in yourself. It does have an impact, small but definite impact. So when we take those predictable patterns away, it's a bit like pulling the rug out from under your feet, and your body has to, and your brain has to kind of find its feet again, and it will level out and it will feel better, but for a while it can feel a bit uncertain, and that can translate as less confident. Most of us going through perimenopause are well aware of how there are physical changes on the outside, not just internally, but physical changes. I know for myself that my body shape has changed. Even my face has changed. It's not just hair and skin and weight for vanity reasons. It's part of your identity. So when those start to shift, then it does make sense that the confidence could well be affected by that. And unfortunately, we live in a world which places high value on youthfulness and less so on maturity. It makes no sense at all when you think about what maturity really gives us and provides the world and society with, which is experience and wisdom. But yeah, culture, society as a whole hasn't really caught up with that yet. I was talking to someone recently for a podcast interview about brain fog, focus, memory, and how they are common currency when it comes to perimenopause. When you're struggling to concentrate or finding a word or losing somebody's name in the middle of a sentence or a work presentation or something, it makes perfect sense that that's going to affect your confidence. So the answer then isn't always about just trying to be more confident or even just blaming the menopause, which I know it would be easy to do, but it's about taking the right actions on the things that are holding you back or blocking that confidence. It's about defining where that confidence is coming from for you and where you want it to come from. Oh, and by the way, that client that I was talking about at the beginning of the video, she decided that her first step was to stay at home, but put out a request on a local Facebook group to ask for recommendations for a beginners yoga group, and she got a ton of responses and loads of people also saying, I was wondering the same thing. And yes, she did go, and yes, she loved it. In my experience, not feeling confident can be about feeling uncertain around what these changes mean and what's really going on for you physically, mentally, emotionally, hormonally, and then life stuff piling up on top of that. It's not knowing how to address that confidence starts to wane. And it can also be about who you are when you are addressing that. I've had many conversations with women who don't like who they're becoming. They don't feel in control of that until we start to have a conversation around what they can do about it. They feel stuck on a runaway train, unable to slow it down or get off. With all the people I've helped, when we've talked about how to address this particular confidence challenge, whether it's to do with hormones or life stuff, or usually a bit of both, when they start to take positive action that they believe is going to work and that they believe they can do, then confidence definitely starts to improve. If this is a particular problem that you're struggling with at the moment, or maybe you know somebody with this issue, then I do invite you to join in the conversation with us over on the free Facebook community, Menopause Done Naturally. I'll see you in there.